Supreme Court listening to lawyers argue for and against Trump being on the ballot. If Barack Obama sent tens of thousands of citizens to mash up a joint session of Congress, no one would be arguing he should be not in Guantanamo Bay. Or we would not be discussing he should be a leading candidate for the next president. What he would have done, he would have took the oath of office and threw it in the garbage can. That's what Donald Trump did. The 14th Amendment clearly states anyone serving who clearly involved in an insurrection or rebellion against the government is disqualified, or anyone giving aid or comfort is also disqualified. My views on states deciding if the former president should be on the ballot is a little two-sided, because I prefer the citizens decide that, make that decision. So if the former president Trump ran and he clearly lose, there would be no ambiguous thoughts or suggestions that he didn't get a fair shot, because honesty is always the best policy. So although the Constitution clearly states that this guy is disqualified, you know, it's always something about him that you gotta cut a next lane for him, or you gotta make an exception for him. It's never normal. It's always you gotta do something special for this guy that no other citizens is obliged or allowed. Donald Trump didn't just sit by, said nothing, and this all occurred. He instigated it. He pushed his supporters to commit the crime. You don't believe me? Ask them. They'll tell you that what they did on that day, if it wasn't for President Trump, most of them would never did it. And when they got their sentences, they were disappointed because they thought he was gonna pardon them. He never did. So they're saying they committed a crime in the name of the president. Now, how can you commit a crime for someone who hadn't played up, who hadn't instigated you to do it? That's conspiracy. So they're saying the Constitution clearly states if you give aid or comfort to an insurrectionist or accusers of insurrectionists, you are also disqualified. You know, as I said before, if it was any other president who did it, there would be no conversation. He would totally be disqualified. But for Donald Trump, something about this guy, it's always something, you know, they always want to make an excuse or pick a different lane so he can be not held accountable. And that's not cool, that's not honest, that's not dignified. You know, if a guy clearly commits a crime where you have evidence, you can prove it in a court of law, you have evidence that can corroborate whatever you are saying, he should be held accountable. It should be no suggesting like he the president. The president is just a citizen. You know, why is it some parts of the Constitution are valid and why is it some parts are not valid? Barack Obama had enough support in this country, he could have run a third term and win, in my opinion. But the Constitution clearly states you only can serve 2 terms. So why some guys gotta be lawbreakers and some guys gotta be upholders of the law? The law is supposed to be fair. What is equal to me should be equal to you. Donald Trump clearly instigated his supporters to turn up at the Capitol, and the morning he was at the ellipse and he was making that speech. He was even telling them, I'll see you down there. You know, so he was like a don, you know, an area leader, like a crime boss. You know, he ain't gotta say the word specifically. Go attack the Capitol. Stop Mike Pence from certifying the election. He just gotta say a few words in codes. And from one criminal to a next, you all picked up what the crime boss is saying. And as loyal supporters of the area leader of the Don, you go and carry out, or you put in action what he wanted to be done. So that's right there, conspiracy. As I said before, I prefer to beat Donald Trump square and fair at the ballot box. You know, I would not like the idea of states telling him he can't, although the Constitution clearly states that he is unqualified. So they are having arguments today. Donald Trump lawyers are making their point that their guy is eligible, and the states that filed a court case are saying he's not. So we here, we watching, we listening to the end result of the decision. And as you know, all know for sure, we will be here to present you with the latest reporting after they made it. And this is our end of our report for today. Truth matters. Remember to like, share and subscribe and leave a comment. It helps our channel bring you more qualified and dignified reporting of this election year in America. Thank you.